Elena is in her mid-30s, the kind of person who sincerely believes she is trying to live a good life. She considers herself thoughtful. She prays sometimes in the quiet of the morning, not with dramatic language, just simple words spoken before the day gathers momentum. She answers messages when she can. She shows up for birthdays. She keeps her word more often than not. If you asked her what she values, she would say faith, kindness, and integrity. And she would mean it. The day is not extraordinary. It is an ordinary day, the kind most of us live. A calendar marked with meetings, a few text threads waiting for replies, a husband she loves, even when love feels layered and complicated. Nothing dramatic, nothing catastrophic, just a day unfolding. And like most days, it begins with a question. There is always a small moment before we speak. A pause so light it almost goes unnoticed. A breath in which the words have not yet formed, but something inside us has already leaned in one direction or another. This story lives in that breath, and in what it quietly shapes when no one else can see it. Morning light filters through the kitchen window as Eleanor balances her phone between her shoulder and ear. On the other end, her mother asks the question she asks nearly every week. How are you, really? In that small pause, the truth rises gently. The restless nights, the distance she and Marcus have not yet named, a weariness that does not quite have language. For a split second, she considers letting it out, but another thought follows close behind. If I say it, she will worry. She will call again tomorrow. She will tell my sister. It will become a story that grows larger than I am ready for. So Eleanor exhales and says, I am doing well. Really? Just busy? There is a slight hesitation on the other end of the line. Then acceptance. The conversation shifts. The moment closes. When she sets the phone down, she watches the steam curl up from her coffee and feels something settle in her chest. It was a small adjustment. A kindness, perhaps. Nothing dramatic. And yet she cannot quite decide whether what she feels is relief or a subtle kind of loss. Scripture speaks plainly about the tongue. Proverbs 18, verse 21, reminds us that death and life are in the power of the tongue. Elena is not thinking about death or life, so she is thinking only that the moment has passed, that it was small, that it hardly matters. But somewhere beneath the surface, something has shifted. The sentence is over. The forming continues. If this reflection resonates with you, consider sharing it with someone who might pause with it for a moment. By mid-morning, she is at work, a presentation folder tucked under her arm. Damon meets her in the hallway and asks whether she finalized the metrics. She pauses again, though this time the pause is shorter. She had meant to triple-check one source number the night before. She started to, but fatigue overtook her. She is almost certain the figures are accurate. Almost. Damon waits with the easy patience of someone who expects reassurance. She could say, I believe so, but let me verify one more number before we begin. It would take 5 minutes. It would mean admitting she was not entirely thorough. It would slow the rhythm of the day by just a little. Instead, she says, yes. All set. The words leave more quickly than they did that morning. Damon nods and walks ahead. Eleanor follows, telling herself it is likely fine. The number was close enough. This is how work moves forward. Everyone rounds. Everyone simplifies. Everyone lets small things slide. But she notices something she did not notice earlier. The sentence formed more easily this time. The justification did not have to be built. It was already waiting. James 1 verse 19 whispers through memory. Be quick to hear, slow to speak, slow to anger. She has not been angry, but she has not been slow either. The sentence outran her reflection. And now it is part of the meeting, part of the record, part of the story others will carry. Afternoon comes gently. Eleanor sits across from Marcus in a small cafe, sunlight falling across the table between them. He's asking about a visit next month, his brother's invitation still hanging in the air. Eleanor has already decided she does not want to go. She feels weary in that house, unsure of how to inhabit those rooms with their expectations and unspoken tensions. She longs for something quieter. Marcus looks at her without pressure. He is simply waiting. She could say, I feel tired in that space. I am not sure how to explain it, but I need something different right now. I need room to breathe. Instead, she hears herself say, it is just a busy season at work. Maybe later in the year. Marcus nods, accepting the explanation she has offered. She watches his face soften in understanding, though it is not the understanding she truly wanted. She feels again that subtle interior shift. Proverbs 15 verse 1 comes to mind. A soft answer turns away wrath. Her answer was soft, but she wonders quietly whether softness has become a covering, a way to smooth the surface while something truer remains unspoken. The conversation moves on. The moment passes without conflict. Yet beneath the calm, she senses a fatigue that has nothing to do with sleep. By evening, she sits alone at her desk, the room dim except for the light of her screen. A message waits from a former co-worker asking for a professional recommendation. All she needs to do is affirm, confirm, say yes. She remembers small patterns from years ago, inconsistencies that were never dramatic, never provable, but present. A tendency to deflect blame and gather credit. Nothing severe, nothing that would cause a scandal. Just a shape she had recognized over time. The cursor blinks patiently. If she says yes, the relationship remains smooth. The favor circulates. No friction, no questions. The world continues undisturbed. But Ephesians 4 verse 29 rests quietly in her memory. Let no unwholesome talk come from your mouths, but only what is helpful for building others up according to their needs, that it may give grace to those who hear. She wonders what truly builds, what truly gives grace, and to whom. She could ignore the message and pretend she never saw it. She could offer praise that costs her nothing. Or she could write something measured and honest. Not harsh, not condemning, just clear. Her fingers hover above the keys. And in that stillness, she recognizes something. This moment is not larger than the others. It is simply the fourth. Each small adjustment earlier in the day has quietly shaped the ease of this one. Each softened edge, each protective sentence, each justification has traced a pathway. Every word was not only shaping the moment, it was shaping the woman who would speak the next one. They have been forming her. Yet beneath those pathways, another voice remains. It is not louder, it does not shout, it simply waits for her to notice it. She takes a slow breath. The screen glows in the quiet room. The question lingers, unfinished. What is the shape of the voice I am becoming? She does not answer yet. But the asking has begun. And perhaps, for now, the asking is enough. If this parable offered you something to carry into your own day, take a moment to like, comment, and subscribe. We will continue the journey gently together.